PM. Members present are Chairperson Ray Lambert, Vice Chairperson Nancy LeBlanc, alternate member Nancy Parenti, and alternate member Paul Richards. Member JP Millette is on, well, he is on Zoom, but he is unavailable to vote because of surgery that he had, I guess, yesterday or today. So with that said, we do have a quorum and we can transact our business. I'd like to welcome our new alternate member, Paul Richards, to the board, who will be sitting in today for JP, because as I said before, coming in on Zoom, he can't vote. So in other words, Paul is going to do the voting. All right. The next order of business is approval of the minutes of the March 23rd meeting. Anybody got anything before I got a couple of things here? JP, I mean, you can talk and participate, you just can't vote.
Yeah, no, I don't see anything that I would change that I can remember.
I don't see anything. I really haven't looked at them. This is the first time I see them.
Yeah, from what I was here at the meeting, I don't see anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I have a couple of, they must be typos. Page 1, paragraph 4, number 4. The black print, motion made by JP Millette to leave the ward lines as in. It's as is.
As is, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, because the divination, now that's not his
Deviation.
deviation. Everybody see that?
Yeah.
All right, I'll entertain a motion that we amend the minutes to change it. Those are the only two I have, so I'll entertain a motion that
I'll move that motion.
that the minutes be accepted as presented and as amended. That's your motion?
Yes, that's
I'll
my
second.
motion.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted unanimously. Certification of the final canvas list. This is it. Anybody want to see it?
No.
Righty. We're gonna sign this. You want us to sign the?
If you don't mind, that would be great.
Okay, we'll sign, we gotta sign this here.
Okay.
If you don't mind signing both so that I can, the
Yes.
other one in on the sleeve.
We just want all your autographs multiple times.
Okay. Okay.
103.
Sure, why not?
Look at her. You know what that thing, my goodness.
That's part of it too.
Okay.
Thank you.
I didn't date it, so if you want to date it.
It's right there.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, the next order of business is certification of warrant for the all-day referendum. We have that right here. With all its copies that he needs to, you know.
Ray, do you guys normally vote to approve the certification of the final canvas and the warrant? I just want to make sure
Yes.
because we get a motion on the,
Yes,
We have a
Final
motion,
canvas.
but nobody ever moved or seconded the approval of the final canvas.
all don't know what happened there, but anyway, we have now the certification. Oh, I see what you mean.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know if you guys usually vote on that.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
I'll entertain a motion that that what we just signed, that we certified that was the final canvas list.
I'll move that motion.
Second,
All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so voted unanimously.
Thank you.
All right, now the next order of business is a certification of the warrant for the all-day referendum. If you want to see it, we have all the copies here that Bert has to distribute.
Brett still doing that?
He's still the town sergeant.
He is, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
All right, I'll entertain a motion that that the warrant for the May 19th, 2022 all-day referendum be certified.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second
All
that.
those in favor?
Aye.
So opposed, so voted unanimously. Sign.
Thank you.
The next order of business is poll workers update. We have
Yeah,
a list here.
we have a list. Oh,
read the names.
Huh?
Read the names.
Oh, you want me to read them?
Yeah.
I was just going to let you all read it. Paul Richards, moderator, Republican. Rachel Goslin, supervisor, Democrat. Karen Simpson, supervisor, Republican. Katrina Repose, that's your mother-in-law, right? Supervisor, Republican. Skylar Landry, supervisor, Democrat. I have no idea. Where'd you get the name?
She's a friend of Rachel's.
they're definitely going to show up this time.
Yes,
Yes. Yeah.
well, and Dimity Magera is the greeter.
And she'll be there.
Anybody have anything to, how'd you, nobody was called. I.
No,
this
I
is the
wasn't
first time I
called.
see these. We don't get a say. See,
do?
I'm worried
That's your
about,
say, right?
I know you're the alternate. But now you can't vote on this.
Right. I
You
was
can't
gonna
vote for
abstain.
yourself
Yeah.
as the moderator.
Right.
I was wondering who we were going to use if you came on the board, who we were going to use as a moderator, because it's tough to get these people. And I don't know how long. I didn't check this up in the law. I know you and I had a discussion once, if he's on the board. Remember when we had JP as the clerk
Yep,
for Bourget's election?
correct.
All right. And we said, well, he's an alternate. We sort of like,
I think the Board of Elections approved that.
I didn't call him, did you?
Yeah.
And what did they say about keep on doing it right on down the line?
Well, I didn't know that we would have a need at that point, so I didn't ask that.
No, what, did they say that's
They said
okay?
it was okay, yeah,
All
that he
time,
could.
all, for everybody and anybody and all time?
They said it was all okay when he was the alternate to serve as a poll worker that day.
Because the thing, what happened there is, right, the person didn't show up that morning.
Yes,
Right.
that,
So I mean, that was an emergency situation.
Right.
So I can see the Board of Elections saying, oh, yeah, if you got a good clerk there, put him in there.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But now where it's not an emergency, so to speak,
Right.
I don't know. I didn't check because I didn't know we were going to do this today. I mean, approve them. You have any? Wait a minute, one more question. JP, is that Karen Simpson, the person who worked at the Bourget election with Katrina? Oh, okay. She's good.
and the
Yes.
financial
He's
company.
one of the
she's-
regulars.
She's very dependable.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
she's good. That's why I
Yeah.
just wanted
Yeah.
to check.
If they show up.
Yeah,
I think that's why.
Where's that polling place gonna be?
Right at
Civic
the
Center.
Yeah,
Where?
at the
Oh,
Civic Center, yeah.
All right, good.
I think we'll do that. Well, I'll talk about that next time because we also should put the West Warwick Civic Center Field House. Because there's a West Warwick Civic Center ice rink. Their ice rink. I mean, it's something to think, when you put, get technical, you just put West Warwick Civic Center Fieldhouse. I've seen it put that way for different options that they had. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the other one is the ice rink. We're not gonna go in there unless you want to freeze.
No, people get
All
people to
right.
vote quick.
Comments on the all-day referendum poll workers. I know Katrina Repose is excellent,
Yes,
and if Karen Simpson is the
Yeah, she's one of the
one that
regulars.
JP,
yeah.
said she's excellent. The other two, we had a problem with Rachel Goslin. Remember? I even talked to her father. She said, she said that there was something even between them two, they weren't on the same page. Am I right?
Yes,
I
So,
think with Rachel, if I remember correctly, she at least gave us a few days' notice that she wasn't going to be able to do it, so we were able to get ladies from Coventry. The emergency situation was someone else.
One of the fifth girls.
Yes.
Uh,
who did we use last year?
I think we should have an alternate or someone that could be called.
So that was my idea with the greeter. The greeter is also someone who's worked as a supervisor in the
Yes,
past.
yeah,
So I figure in the event, if we had someone who, I mean, anyone could get ill at any time or have to call it for
yeah,
whatever
right,
reason.
yeah, anything. can
She could at
happen,
least
yeah.
just fill in as one of the supervisors.
Do you know Pam, who we had last year?
For
I don't
the
remember. I know we
FTM,
had Katrina.
we had Rachel Goslin was there.
Fitz girls, I believe.
The Fitz girls were there,
Paul was there.
Paul
Yeah,
and Karen
yes, yes.
and Katrina.
From high school.
And I believe Carrie's nephew also was a greeter.
See, I'm worried that you got a big primary coming up in September with a lot of polling places. And if we, if people say to me, or you or anybody, if they say, "Oh, what happened to me at the referendum? How come these, not Katrina or Simpson, they were excellent and they worked at,
Well, that is something to consider.
you know what I'm saying? If,
They've already been told
like I
that
was gonna
they,
say,
wait a minute, they've already been told that they're working at the polls?
We asked them all if they would be willing to, so
Oh.
we could present them to you. You guys have the final say.
like, for example,
I mean, we don't have any poll workers beating down our door right now. I wish we did, but we don't.
and you don't want to lose any either come September.
Nope, we're gonna need all we can get. We actually, Pam and I have been working together on a letter to send out to all former poll workers,
Mhm.
asking if they'd be interested, what the dates of the election and the time commitments are. And I also have a flyer that I've drafted. to
That's a
start
good idea, but
circulating.
what I'm afraid of is, for example, like, maybe I want to say a month ago, Karen and I were in Market Basket, and who's over there? Olivia Fitz and her mother, and they said, what's the matter? You don't call me anymore?
We actually called both of the Fitz girls, they declined.
Oh, they declined.
Yes.
Okay, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See, what I was worried about is, somebody saying, say, hey, what's the matter with me? Well, you can look for somebody else in September.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? In
Yeah,
September, we're really gonna need people.
There
I-
is one,
I
there is
happen-
one other person that is ready to back up if they have to. And that's Howard Brown, which is my husband.
Who is that backup person?
Howard,
Her husband.
my husband Howie.
Okay,
We worked at Maisie Quinn at the election. And he's the gentleman who worked
is he a
out.
town worker?
No,
No.
No? Oh. Oh, okay.
just one of us
Um,
have to work for the town. No.
So yeah, so we do have another backup plan just in case anyone.
I also found someone that is very willing to work and is very capable. She's computer savvy. She'd have no trouble being a supervisor. I think that's the position. She's personable. She lives in town. Michelle Mariano, she lives on Ward 3, I believe, yes.
If you could just ask her to stop by here or email us, we can email her a poll worker application.
Yeah, I did,
so
I
we
did
have
tell her
in-
it was on the website. I will remind her. I'll send her an email.
That's what we're really looking to get at this point, and we're hoping by sending out that letter to all the former poll workers that we'll be able to retain some of them for the upcoming elections, as
Mhm.
well as finding new poll workers by posting the flyer. We're gonna use the police will post on social media for us. Hopefully the fire department will too. They each respectively have some social media pages, but trying to get that out there, put something on
Okay.
our website, try to get.
Well, I hope they show up.
Right.
If I see Rachel, I will tell her to make sure she comes. But I have to say, I think that if either one of them do not show up at this referendum, that should be it. I think.
Exactly.
It's a
Good.
challenge because you
Yeah.
want to get the younger generation involved,
Mhm.
but, and that unfortunately, sometimes the younger generation isn't quite as dependable. So
Mm.
That particular day is a school day also, right?
it is. Rachel and the other girl are in college, so
Right.
they're.
Yeah, so
done
they'll
at that
probably
time.
be out.
Yeah,
They
Yeah.
probably have their finals.
Because I know sometimes when it's a general election, the high school's closed, so you can get some of those people.
yeah, yeah,
But if it's a-
especially,
But if it's a school day, obviously you can't.
yeah.
You gotta worry about parking.
I think last year we were okay with parking, if I
Well,
remember
The
correctly.
early-
only
in the morning.
issue we had, I think, last year was when they have, at the bottom of the hill, they have that I forgot what it's
oh,
called,
yeah.
Project something
the
or other.
project, right, they came.
Oh,
in
yeah,
and
and
talked
that's
about
They
a
it.
staged
Thursday.
the cars up in the
I
parking
remember
lot.
that.
Yeah,
So that's something to,
I think they still do it.
They're gonna
Yeah,
do
they
it
do.
again.
Well, that's what
Wait
I'm
a
saying.
minute. Are we having another meeting before the, because that's
Referendum.
where we bring that in, and we bring the cops in, you know,
We can, yeah.
I mean,
If you
before
tell me what
the
you
actual
wanna
budget,
meet
to make sure
about,
all the i's are dotted and the t's are crossed and whatever.
If you tell me exactly what you want to meet about, then yes.
'Cause that's when we, start getting into specifics
Yeah.
about, hey, wait a minute, we need a police officer there, or
Right.
we need this.
but that was one of the issues that came up last year. So, and I don't know what days that they have, but
They have it
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Tuesday, Thursday, Fridays.
Yeah, so being a Thursday, it's gonna be
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yep. All right, I have one more question. Nothing against you, because you're our best moderator.
Yep.
But we're gonna need some, so did you try to get another moderator for this? And Paul said, I'll do it if you can't get anybody, or did you
Nope,
just
we,
grab
I
Paul?
mean, we asked the Fitz girls if they were willing, and obviously
Maddie
one of
can do
them,
it.
right, but they weren't interested.
Madison was the first one to refuse.
Yeah, so we went with.
Yeah,
Paul.
well, I
This was
think you're gonna
previous to
lose
him,
her because she's got her business now and she's out of college.
Right.
So that's it for that. You know what I'm saying? Nothing against you, Bob, but I
Yeah.
mean, were you like, because, like double dipping, so to speak, you know what I'm saying? In other words, somebody else was attempted to be put there because Paul's on the board now, but you couldn't really get anybody, so,
Well, Paul wasn't on the board when we asked
Right.
him.
oh. But you're on now.
I am now.
But he wouldn't get his board payroll, would you? Would he?
Oh, I didn't even think about JP did, so yeah, I
I
guess.
was offered both when I worked at the special election, but I refused the clerk pay.
Thank you, JP.
Yeah.
You see, that's another thing too. I mean, I'm not saying you're doing this, but I mean, if you're gonna do the moderator's job, I mean, you know what I'm saying? That was a good point about the pays. I mean, I don't know.
I think whatever you've done in the past is probably the practice. that-
We've never done it in the past.
No,
Except for
JP was the
JP.
first,
JP, yeah.
and I wasn't even aware that he was offered two. It was a good of him.
No, I didn't either.
It was good of him to refuse one. Obviously, it is double dipping. I mean, you're paid to be there all day as a board member, and then you're gonna be the moderator. I have no problem with choosing.
Yeah.
What is the pay for the moderator?
I don't know if you're talking about 225, so I believe the pay is similar, right?
About 175 for moderator, I think.
Nope, 225
more
for
than that.
moderator and clerk, the supervisors are 175. if I
Yep.
remember.
Okay.
Yes, no, it is.
So see, 225 for the moderator and 250 for this.
Okay.
So in other words,
I could see where he would get the extra 25, but
Yeah,
know.
no, you should only get paid for one position, so
Right.
if
He's got to be
Just his
there,
board
just
pay.
like you and me. I mean, you know,
Right.
Just the same as if, let's say two supervisors wanted to go eat and you were there to fill in for them, you're
Right.
still gonna get your canvassing pay.
yes.
Right.
So same idea.
Oh, okay, well,
So with that understanding, you understand that?
Absolutely.
All right, what's your pleasure?
I don't know if I can do this, but I'd like to make a motion to vote on the poll workers list. But I have a reservation or a hesitation, and I don't know.
Wait,
Go ahead, JP, you can.
I mean, we're gonna have to look for an experienced moderator.
Yeah, and it would
Yes,
be.
that's what we need an
Yeah,
experienced
no, I
moderator. It's not
understand.
gonna be a supervisor or anything, unless you want to switch Karen Simpson or something to moderator.
Well, the thing is that the moderator, I think that the referendum would be a good time to train someone as a moderator because it's not very busy. And especially if Paul is there, he can help, guide that person. It's just,
What are your reservations?
my reservations. I do have to agree with what you said about not including other poll workers.
Yep.
I mean, and like I said, I think that someone else as a moderator would be an opportune time to train that person, because in a few months, they're going to, we could use another moderator at one of the polling places.
Oh, you're gonna
You
need a
know?
lot of moderators.
Yeah, because how many moderators do we have that we could definitely count on? Because the time to be a moderator is not during that time. I think,
And you're right about the all-day referendum. It's a good time to train. We had like two, we alternated.
Mhm.
Paul and the Fitz girl, Maddie.
yeah,
Now, I'm pretty sure you're gonna lose her completely because she's out of college now.
Yeah,
and She's got
and,
business and, stuff like that.
Colleen Flynn, you had been
Yeah,
a
we haven't
moderator
used
also.
her in a long time.
Yeah, but I just think I'm a little uncomfortable with this list.
Can I say, I mean, you're gonna take some with the train. and you're gonna
JP,
pay him-
hold on a minute. JP, hold on a minute. You wanted to say something. I stopped you because.
That's nothing personal. Paul.
No. When the comment she was making about some of the other workers, but my point was gonna be that they called some of the other workers and they refused. That's why we got to this list. So it's not like I think we're ignoring some people, but they went down the list and this is what we ended up with because some other people refused. So
How many other moderators that we previously used had you called?
I'm not sure, Pam.
I know I called the Fitz girls
Yep.
Mhm.
and I called, and when they both said no, I called Paul.
Right.
So.
So what if we switched, I don't know if she'd be willing, but what if we switched Karen to the moderator? Because again, you have to keep in mind the bipartisan pairs for your supervisors. So what if we switched Karen to the moderator under the supervision of Paul and put Paul as a supervisor in that situation? Would that make you feel more comfortable?
Not really. I'd rather, might as
No,
well leave
not-
Paul in that situation. I'd
Yeah.
Leave Paul as the
Katrina
moderator.
has worked as a
Yeah,
moderator in the
'cause
past,
Paul-
but I don't think.
Because
she
you
will.
have to do both
Who-
the moderator and clerk. kind of.
Katrina has been a moderator and a clerk in the past, but I think she would prefer to be a supervisor.
Yep.
So was
This is probably the most expedient list. But I just think it a little biased, that's all. I,
I know what you're saying. JP, you wanted to say something?
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, if you're gonna train somebody to be a moderator, I mean, that's not a time to train somebody. Like they train the
not?
moderators, the state comes in and has a trainer.
Yeah, but
I
on the
mean, you're
job
not gonna take
experience.
somebody off the street and just pay
Well,
them
yeah.
$225 to learn how to be a moderator.
Well, I had Maisie Quinn a few elections back. And they talked someone to be the moderator there. She had been a supervisor a number of times. Actually, I think she
Oh,
came
yeah,
from Warwick. And she was overwhelmed. And she said, I wish I had had more training. It's not the first time I've been a poll worker, but this is so much different. This is that, I've never been a poll worker, so maybe I'm not the person to really comment on that. But I just think that that would be an opportune time to have someone get the feel of something rather than throw them in there in September or November, and then they never come back again.
if you remember a few years
Hey,
ago that the moderator at not Maisie Quinn, Wakefield Hills, called and asked me to go over there, and I stayed with her all day long because she had no idea what she was doing.
That's what I'm saying. I think what Nancy LeBlanc is getting at is nothing beats on-site,
OJT,
Training.
yes.
Well,
on the job training, JP.
I would, from my own personal experience, because the financial town meeting, you don't have hardly any of the issues you have in the general election.
That's correct.
Exactly.
The best time to possibly train somebody to moderate would be at one of the primaries, because then you have all the things that are going to happen in the general election. The other thing on the referendum day, they're also being clerk. It's a dual position type thing.
But there's no clerk.
But-
What are they doing?
Well, it's the paperwork afterwards and stuff like that, which they wouldn't have to do on a general election, but they'd have to. But my point is, it might be better to train somebody during a primary, only because.
This
you know,
year?
I don't,
Well,
I
well, it's better
I
than
don't
presidential.
think so.
I don't think so.
Well, no.
You know what?
You're gonna probably get the provisional ballot situations. You're not gonna have that at a financial town meeting. A lot of the things that come up in a general election basically aren't done because everybody's gonna be at a polling place over here. So general elections, you gotta find people to the right, you gotta guide people to the right place. You're gonna have provisional ballots. You're gonna have a whole bunch of other things happen that aren't gonna come up on a.
Right,
That's true, but personally,
but-
I would not want to be trained
See,
while
I
that's all going
approach
on,
it-
what you're saying.
But
now.
that's what I'm saying. That I mean, it's the on-the-job training. It's a little bit tougher, but it's gonna be the real life experience. They're not gonna get a real good opinion. I mean, if somebody does a financial town meeting and they think, oh, this is a breeze,
No.
but then come
no,
general
no,
election.
no.
Let's-
I think that it's like a step process. It's slower. There's less
It's definitely slower.
complications. So
But-
they get the machine down pat. They get that,
Yeah.
the idea of working that. And then you have that same moderator, that same person that you have as a moderator, go for the primary, work as a moderator,
Yeah.
maybe in one of the smaller polling places. Then you throw these people in there and sometimes they never come back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the training from the state could be a little bit better. I mean, because most of it's all been done Zoom, it's all been done, online the last couple of elections and stuff. I don't
Yeah,
know if they're gonna go back to in-person training, because the in-person training, they do let you go to the machine and see how the machines work and everything along that line at the end of the night. Otherwise, they're just demonstrating it online, and it's usually done towards the tail end. It's like 2 hours in. And I think half the people are asleep or got away from their computers
because
and stuff.
how long have you been a moderator?
I'm not sure. I actually started working the election in the elections in 1988.
1988,
I
okay.
started as a
So
supervisor.
that's why, I mean, you're excellent, really. You're very, very good. And
But, and I have to say, a lot of it is,
but you've repeated it
Right.
over
And-
and
but-
over and over
I
again.
mean, I think part of the issue too is the people that, take the online training or to do the training from the state. They don't look at anything, till the next day or the day of the election and stuff like that. What I used to
Why would
do,
you?
well, what I used to, because they give you, you can print out, everything that they go through the training is printed, and it's all step by step. It's, all you gotta do is read it. And, you can find your way. I used to read it the night before. The election day. I would go through things, okay, this is what I gotta do during the opening, this is what I do at close. I just go through the steps. And then, so then when you're there in the morning, you're not like panicking, like, what am I doing? And you just gotta go through that, and it just takes repetition and things along that line.
Just for the sake of expediency, can't we just, I believe Karen Simpson's an experienced moderator. Just switch her from supervisor to moderator, and somebody up there provide a list of somebody they want to be called for the supervisor's position.
Madam Vice Chair. that's-
You know, because there's hardly any, I mean, a
Discussing.
supervisor, you can learn how to be a supervisor in minutes.
Yeah, that would be fine.
But just let's make sure that Karen's going to be
We're looking
acceptable
at
to the
this list
moderator.
right here, that's, then who would you get as to replace Karen Simpson?
No, that's what I'm
Just
saying. Why don't we, I mean, if you
submit a
people have
name.
somebody in
Like say your
mind,
woman that you're talking to.
yeah,
need
there
a
you
few-
go.
We need a
Maybe Michelle.
She
Republican.
needs to be a Republican.
We
though.
need a
Right,
Republican.
yeah, I'm not sure what she, I think she's a you.
That's okay then, if she's a you, right?
Must
Hold on a
be- yeah,
second.
unaffiliated.
What was?
And I don't know if she's available that day, so. But did you have any other people for supervisor?
Paul or Ray, do you want?
No,
Right?
I mean, Dimity, my next door neighbor, she's already working, so
And I mean.
the Quinn
with that-
girls, no? I'm not,
No, what?
not the Quinn, and I
Do you
misspoke
want to
there.
be a supervisor?
He was
Paul?
before.
no, I would, the only one I would suggest is Olivia, but according to Pam, she called her and she refused.
She
I was
did.
surprised because she was asking when the next election was gonna be.
Her exact words were, I'll get back to you, and that's 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
Okay.
Your wife is asking you if you want to be.
Well,
the
I don't know, what,
supervisor.
do you, what, how do you feel about this?
you want to be a super?
He's worked there before.
I can only, I haven't been trained, I haven't been through retraining here since COVID hit.
Okay,
I think it was 2019 was the last time I worked a poll as a supervisor.
well, I don't know what, did you do the machine?
Yeah. we have the-
Yeah, he did the
Yeah,
poll pad,
The
yeah.
poll pad?
Yeah.
I don't know if anything's changed. Has anything changed?
But every time there was an election, we had to be retrained. The state would come down and all. everybody-
Yeah,
but
this
that's
is in
statewide.
town.
No,
This is
This is like
statewide.
the Title 17
The-
election.
But my husband and I had to do training online because they weren't doing any in-house training.
Okay.
So we did it online.
But another thing is, I'll only be able to fill in on Thursday. There's a Thursday election.
No, this would be Thursday, May 19th.
Because I won't be available on the Tuesdays, because I work on Tuesdays.
That's fine.
But yeah, if you need me for the referendum, I'll work the
It
referendum.
is a Thursday.
Is that
Yeah.
what's his name? What is your
And,
first?
and if someone doesn't show up, we could put Howie on the list.
Who's Howie?
My
Oh,
husband.
Howie Carr.
I worked with him at the town hall in the COVID,
Gotta be a
early
Republican,
voting.
No,
So-
Republican or unaffiliated.
Yeah.
My husband is unaffiliated.
and you're a Republican.
Yeah.
And what is your
Yeah, he's
first
a
name?
Republican.
Paul,
Okay, I did have it right. Okay.
Um, That's all I have to say,
well,
but I
if you want to
mean,
make a motion,
do you have any discussion on that, or Nancy?
I'm looking at.
But you're
here,
still gonna
poll
check with
workers
Karen too,
update.
aren't you?
Do we vote on poll workers? It says poll workers update. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't say vote on poll workers.
No,
So should we?
well, you said you're gonna have another
One
meeting.
more meeting before the referendum.
Okay,
I just
That-
don't want to get into a situation where we're hiring poll workers the week before, like,
No,
this is
no,
gonna
no.
be our list.
no, I don't
right?
blame you,
Okay.
yeah,
Have it next week.
yeah,
To give us,
next week,
well,
When is it? May 18th?
it's May 19th, but
May
I
19th.
mean, I think it would be best if we only had to meet one more time before.
Yeah, that's what I said. One more meeting.
we can combine everything we want to do into one, that would be
Yeah.
good.
You want to table this?
Yeah, why don't we table the poll workers list till next meeting? I'll make a motion that we table the poll workers list until our next meeting. Make a decision then.
I don't know if I should abstain only because I'm on it or.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. You can't vote because you're on it right now.
Yeah,
All right, I'll second that motion.
okay.
All right, we have a situation where one of the poll workers is Paul Richards, who has just been recently appointed to the board as an alternate. He is listed as the moderator for the all-day referendum. So that would have to be checked into. So I'll second your motion that we table
Okay.
this till the next
Table
meeting.
this, yeah,
All
okay.
right, all those, you can't vote.
Right.
All those in favor?
Can I have-
Aye.
Wait a
Can I
minute.
make a point of information?
Yeah, what?
What happens if Karen doesn't want to switch from,
Then we got a meeting coming. I'm sure Pam's
Oh,
gonna
okay.
call these people
Okay.
and say,
I'll call others.
all right,
no, but she's gonna call Simpson and say, hey, would you rather be? And if she
Okay.
says no, she comes to the next meeting and we say, you know. And if push comes to shove, we'll make Katrina Repose the moderator. She's done it before.
Yeah, that's true. Your mother-in-law. Yes.
The only problem you got with
She'd
that.
be very
and-
good.
And Sarah knows I love her mother-in-law. I love the way she makes sandwiches. All right, the only problem with that is, again, if somebody comes along and says, hey, well, what about me? And you hire, she's in Warwick, right? You said,
She is in Warwick, yeah.
you see what I'm saying? We hire, but I love her.
Yeah.
She was a lifelong West Warwick resident. She just unfortunately is.
Do you get my point, Paul? In other words, hey, wait a minute, now you're
Yeah.
hiring Warwick people in, for West Warwick, yeah.
That long.
But we can do that anyway, so go ahead. The motion table and second, all those in favor without Paul voting?
Aye.
Aye.
Just no.
Motion
well,
passes.
abstained.
The all-day the poll worker situation is,
Can I show that to Nancy?
yes. Poll worker situation is tabled until the next meeting. Pam, please put vote somewhere. in
Yes, sir, I've already wrote that.
Okay, so it'll be poll workers update and vote. All right, the next order of business is the approval of a polling place for the all-day referendum.
And you want that changed to the field.
Well, no, I'm just thinking that, it's more specific.
Yes.
West Warwick Civic Center Field
I
House.
was only going by what's been done every.
Oh, yeah, well,
previous year.
I probably didn't pick it up. It's my fault. Before, but it should be the Field House. I don't think anybody's gonna be going in the ice rink to vote,
No.
but it's,
Yeah, you never
Well,
know.
because we've
You
got the
never know.
signage on the doors.
right. So if
It's
you-
always been referred to as Civic Center, ice rink,
Yeah.
not Field House. It was always Civic Center, ice rink.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wish what's her name was here.
So that's why,
She would tell you that, because she's told me before it's a field house.
yeah, okay,
'Cause I
but
said,
I'm
"Where you
just
having
saying,
that thing at the field house?" All right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Civic
All right, what
Center.
do we got here? Resolved at the intent. That's a poll work. There we go. All right.
even when I was in
Subject,
school.
certification of polling place. Resolved that the attached is certified as a polling place for May 19th, 2022, the West Warwick Civic Center Field House. I'm going to amend this to say Field House.
Okay. I'll make a motion to amend,
The.
to amend
the polling
the
place.
polling place
As West Warwick. Civic
to
Center
West Warwick
Field.
Civic Center Field House.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted unanimously. It's changed to West Warwick Civic Center Field House, which is basically, like Pam said, it's the same thing, but
It is, because even when my children were going to school and they all went through that high school,
Yeah.
it was always the Civic Center and always the ice rink. Paul can
I
vouch for
can
that,
agree, I agree with you on that.
because that's how, well, growing up, that's how the children were brought up.
but it is the Field House. I
Yeah.
know it
Yeah,
is.
the town refers to it as the field house. I know that.
All right,
for the most
thanks.
part.
All right, now with that amendment, I'll entertain a motion that the West Warwick Civic Center Field House be the polling place for the May 19th, 2022 all-day referendum.
I'll move that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so voted unanimously. We sign this.
Don't sign it.
Why?
Gotta change it to
Well,
be
well-
Field House.
Well, as amended,
Sign it at
we-
your
we-
next meeting if you want.
Just sign it at the next
Yeah, we'll give
meeting.
you an amended.
oh,
one.
all right, but it's done. The place is the West Warwick Civic Center Field House.
Formality.
Should we add the Tom Lamb Field House?
No, just like the Magera Ice Rink, because that's the real name of the ice rink,
Yeah.
Benny Magera Ice Rink.
Yeah, the Tom Lamb Field House.
She did.
Oh, I don't know about that. It just says, I've never seen that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen Lamb's name on the thing, but I've seen when they've had like carnivals and stuff like that, West Warwick Civic Center Fieldhouse. All right. That way, you know, so some person will come and say, hey, I thought it was over there, you know, and you can say, sorry.
Where they gonna go, into the ice rink?
Well, I'm just saying. You know the voters. All right, so we've tabled the poll workers update and the polling place has been passed, but we've got to sign a new certification at the next meeting. All right, public comment. Paul, you're the only public.
Or
None.
JP.
Well, JP's not public either.
That's
So,
true.
so Madam Vice Chair, do you have anything on the?
No, just that we're gonna have to, you know, verify the polling places for September but that'll come after.
Okay. Paul?
The other thing I was gonna bring up, should you contact the Board of Elections to find out as far as like alternate members or something, serve, you know, doing, working as a. polling
In
person?
non-emergency
You know,
situations.
in a non-emergency situation or something along that line, get an opinion. Just so, I mean, just so things, depending on what happens in the future and stuff, if you're searching for, if you need
Because
people.
I think we can all agree that when JP filled in, that was an
Right,
emergency. He went
exactly.
there that morning
So-
not knowing he was gonna be the
So
clerk.
here's the deal. You guys have been functioning almost as a 5-member board going along, and having all your members at every meeting, but technically speaking, your alternates don't need to attend on election day or any of your meetings
That's
unless
correct.
if they're being called upon. So I think that's why, and I'll get confirmation, but I
Yeah.
think that is why, because you're not necessarily a voting member. You're only a voting member in an emergency situation of the board.
But just, and if we have that for the next
Well,
meeting.
she's
then-
gonna check.
Yeah,
it.
Yeah,
because
that's what I'm saying, just-
I
The
think that
minutes will
JP
reflect that
checked
we've
too.
asked her to check
Yeah.
with the Board of Elections.
So if we have that for the next meeting, then at least you know going
Yeah.
forward, because planning for the primaries and everything else after that might make
Right.
life a little bit easier for everybody.
Yeah. oh,
So
yeah.
I have one more
JP.
comment about poll workers. Is
Yeah, wait
that
a minute.
two of the poll workers at the special election came from Coventry.
That's correct.
Remember
The two
Steve
women.
Bolton's widow and,
Yep, they were excellent. Yes. But there was a thing there too, right? You got those two because,
If it's dropped out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Again, this is sort of an emergency situation. So you got to get somebody and she got two people from Coventry who do the job.
I mean, if you
Okay.
guys have anyone that you know that's interested, please send them our way. But like I said, we don't have anyone beating down our door to work at
Yeah,
these
well,
elections.
they're not on this list for the all-day referendum anyway, so. These are all West Warwick residents, I assume.
well, again, are we gonna rely on the party chairman to supply us a list with poll workers? Because
We're supposed to by statute, however, they don't supply. Is that correct?
I
Sarah?
will reach out to them again. I have been in talks with at least one of the party's chair about it. And he's basically, you know, asked me to kind of campaign for them because they don't to send out literature, which we all already are.
And I will be sending letters to
Yeah.
both the Republican Party and the Democratic.
Right. I would suggest that you tell that party chairman that is his job by statute, never mind having you recruit workers. I think I have a good idea who it is.
But I am in touch with both party chairs.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you are.
We'll get a letter from us requested.
JP, when you asked the Board of Elections about filling in, when.
I never asked the Board of
hired
Elections
For
about filling in.
yourself, you told them that you were an alternate, and did that make a difference? Because you're an alternate? or-
I never told the Board of Elections that I was filling in.
He became the clerk that morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sarah
Oh,
called.
but I thought you had checked with the Board of Elections
I did.
about.
I believe what I checked for was if I could substitute for somebody going to the bathroom or having lunch or something like that, and there was said
That's
no
another-
problem.
That's another thing too. Somebody going to the bathroom, that's
Yeah.
a nickel and
Yeah,
dime. Yeah,
exactly.
so
Yeah,
obviously he was
exactly.
going to object to that. But when you say, Paul, hey, you're a member, you're going to be the moderator all day.
But
Oh, so you actually never checked?
Sarah's the one who did Nancy.
That morning, I asked the Board of Elections when, I think, is it Olivia? I get the two confused.
Yeah.
Olivia didn't show up.
Was it Olivia or Maddie? I think it was Maddie, because Maddie's a
Oh,
clerk.
Maddie,
was
okay,
Maddie.
sorry. All right. So when Maddie didn't show up, that's when I asked the Board of Elections that morning if it was okay, if JP could fill in.
Now, see, if I'm on the Board of Elections, to answer your question, and somebody says, hey, can JP, an alternate member, fill in? Our clerk didn't show up. It's the morning of the primary. I'm going to say, yeah, go ahead. But when you're saying that Paul is the moderator a month before the election, did you really try to get another moderator? Because I'm sure it's not an ideal situation to have a board member moderator, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I think if they say you got a month, now if you say you can't find one, period, well, that's a difference. But I'm just saying, they're gonna say,
But
would
we-
you kindly look for somebody,
Yeah,
please?
But it'd be good to get their official opinion.
You know, and if you're gonna ask the
So-
Board of Elections something, if two U's can be supervisors,
To who?
two U's,
Oh,
Yes,
two
they
used
can.
a
together.
pair of U's, are they nonpartisan or?
Correct.
Yes,
Yep. So it can be a U and a U, an R and a U, a D and a U. It just can't be two Rs together or two Ds together, although.
and as I told you before, JP, a U is really an independent. And in Rhode Island, an independent is not a party.
Yeah.
So they're unaffiliated, so therefore they can be two U's, like Sarah said.
Mhm.
We've done it before,
Mhm.
two
yeah.
U's.
Yeah. Yes, okay.
So JP, last one comment,
All set.
Nancy
No, I
Parenti.
don't have anything.
All right, having passed through our regular order of business, I'll entertain a motion that we adjourn.
When's our next
I'll
meeting?
move that motion.
So set up the next meeting first. Pick a date and time.
Wednesdays at 3:00 is excellent. Seems
Next
I wonder-
Wednesday? Yeah.
No, she said she wanted.
We want
Did you
it
say you
closer to the
wanted
referendum.
something other than next Wednesday?
Maybe much closer to.
When, can you give me 1 second? I have a
Certainly.
online class that I'm taking for work.
Yeah, the
I
meeting,
just want to make sure. I know it is on Wednesday. It might be in the morning. I gotta check.
the meeting will be in recess for a minute while the town clerk searches her agenda.
That would be May 4th.
We can do. But when's the meeting? Thursday, the 18th. How many Wednesdays?
19th.
19th. Don't do the Wednesday before. Because that's the next day.
No, that's-
What's the one?
That's not enough
Just- So
time.
it'd either be the 4th or the
Next
11th.
Wednesday is fine.
So it would be the 4th.
At 5?
Do you want to do 4 or is 11 good? That's closer to the, JP mentioned. that
Do you wanna
closer
do
to
May
the-
What's
4th or
better for
11th?
you? Either day is okay with
I
me.
just-
Either.
My concern is I want to have these poll workers all set.
That's why I'm
because
saying.
Yeah,
I don't wanna be-
About-
I would rather have that put to bed and that way we know, because when you start getting into the week before the election, I'm also short-staffed right now, so our focus is really all over the place and not just on this. so.
Okay.
If-
Next meeting is Wednesday, May the 4th at 3 PM.
okay.
Thank you.
Everybody hear that? JP?
Yes, I did.
Okay, having passed through our regular order of business, I'll entertain a motion. We adjourn.
I'll move that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted unanimously. The meeting stands adjourned at 3:57 PM.